Okay, and we are live with a special edition Get the Tables podcast TNA edition, where we're just basically just really talking TNA, touching on TNA issues, Impact tonight, and what's going on in TNA. Really, I'm your host as always, Tony. Co-host, the Bizarre One, Dave. How you doing tonight, Dave?
Doing good.
Oh crap! I think I just turned off Periscope. All right. All right. Well, anyways, oh, okay, we're back. I think. All right. So tonight was a special Impact, right? Where we saw a couple title matches and the world title match on the line tonight. How about you touch base on exactly what all went down tonight on Impact?
Well, it started. They did the whole, the hook, line, and sinker thing where you have the world champion and the challenger come out and talk to each other, which decide whose side Moose was on. Basically, how they did that, and then they kind of went into this broken Matt Hardy versus Crazy Steve. It was an okay match, and then they went into this whole thing where Crazy Steve was alone, and so the rest of Decay was at the Hardy compound.
Okay.
And yeah, and Crazy Steve kind of did this whole thing where he said that King Maxwell is now Rosemary's baby,
Oh, okay.
which no one who was born in the last 10 or 15 years is going to get that at all.
Right, right. So
So
they're playing up a storyline to where they finally face each other next week in
yes,
a match.
Yeah, the Final Deletion Part 2, I guess, next week. So, I mean, the first one, people really tuned in. Heck, we even talked about it on our Tuesday night shows, which people can check out on Tuesday nights after SmackDown Live. I mean, we even touched on it in one of our videos, Final Deletion. So, I mean, people, I think, will tune in for Final Deletion 2 just to see it, I think. So, it was a success in some aspects, I think, the first one, and then some aspects it wasn't. But it got people to watch, and people were talking about it, so that's really all you want.
Right. What else? What else happened on the show? What about some stuff that you didn't like on the show?
I didn't like how they did the whole Maria Kanellis is now the Knockouts champion. I didn't like how they did the whole how she had Allie just lay down and she pins her right like that. So it assumes they're going to set up Gail Kim versus Maria Kanellis at Bound for Glory, I assume, for the title. Because Allie, which a lot of people don't know who Allie is, well, she's basically, I touched on a little bit on Tuesday. She's Cherry Bomb. She's a well-known Indies wrestler, one of the better indie wrestlers out there as Cherry Bomb. And they make her like where she can't wrestle. And it's really like, why would they do this to this girl? How she's a really good wrestler too. I mean, and it's just baffling why TNA would take someone like that and just make her someone who her character is she can't wrestle.
Right.
And it's just baffling. I didn't really like how they make her. It's not so much that spot I didn't like or that segment. It's just how they use her exactly. Because I've seen some of her matches and she's really good. I think she's even wrestled in NXT a few times.
Well, maybe they play it up to where she finally.
I hope they're doing something like that because it's just so stupid. I think I have seen Cherry Bomb on NXT once or twice, but it just throws me off of that. I don't really like that, and the whole Billy Corgan whatever his name is, segment with who was that with? I can't even remember. Crap. Oh yeah, with Galloway. That's what it is. Drew Galloway. He just comes off so stupid when he talks. I wish he would not even be on the show, period. Because he comes off so arrogant and stupid.
Mm-hmm. See,
Is he kind
of playing like a heel on TV?
Not he's kind of going back and forth. His Galloway kind of went heel. It's Galloway. Yeah, Galloway. Okay, I was trying to make sure I wasn't calling him Gallows. Yeah, yeah, he's kind of flipping the script and doing a kind of heel turn now, which I always liked him as a heel when he was in WWE as Drew McIntyre. I thought he played a great heel, so this should be interesting, I think.
And what about Corgan? Is he playing a heel too?
He's kind of doing both. I mean, he's going back and forth. First, he comes out and he talks like he's a heel, and then he goes back and he kind of becomes like, I don't know. You never know which way he's gonna go. One minute he's with Maria and Michael Bennett, and then the next he's kind of, no, I'm not with you. It's kind of confusing. He hasn't really established himself as a face or a heel.
Okay. So
It's really.
you said there was also a Ultimate X match tonight, correct?
Yes. Yes, there was. The match is what it's going to be. It's Ultimate X is a high spot match. It's going to be one of those. If you give it enough time, it can be a really good match. And it was a good match. It was probably the best match on the card, I think. I mean, they had no champion. I mean, a lot of high spots, some crazy moves. I mean, Everett and Trevor Lee are just amazing out there. Those are probably the two best guys in TNA right now. Period.
So it was Everett, Trevor Lee. Who else?
There was Mandrews, Braxton Sutter, and there's a few other. DJZ was on it. Zima Ion.
Okay.
Who actually ended up winning it. DJZ Zima Ion is now the new X Division champion. But it was a good match. I mean, Ultimate X's, they should deliver. I mean, if they got about, I think, 15 or 20 minutes, so that was pretty good for them to be able to showcase them a little more. So, I mean, it was a good match. I mean, you also had Eli Drake versus EC3, which was a pretty good match as well. So, I mean, they've put on some good matches, and I can't really complain about that. So, I mean, the matches weren't bad. I thought some of the matches are actually really good, I thought.
Okay.
Even the show was solid. I mean, with the whole thing, another thing I didn't like, it has to do with the Galloway segment, is when Corbin came out, the guy from Smashing Pumpkins.
Right.
He came out, they did this whole thing, how he was going to suspend him and stuff like that. Well, then Sandow, a.k.a. Aaron Rex, a.k.a. Sandow, comes running out and fighting and beating him up. Again, they're fighting and they separated them. So I assume that's to get a Bound for Glory match coming up, I take it. So one thing I did not like about this, last week, which I don't know if people heard this or seen this last week, Drew Galloway beat the living hell out of Aaron Rex / Sandow. He, busted his head into the freaking steel steps. He beat the holy hell out of him. Literally beat the crap out of him. And then a week later, he comes out, he's fine, and he beats up on Galloway, which makes absolutely no sense to me at all.
Right. That maybe.
If you're booking this, he should be out at least a couple weeks from getting his ass whooped on TV. At least have him gone for a couple weeks, then come back. Don't have him come back the next week looking fine.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
That just kind of I was like, why would he be there a week later? It makes no sense at all. Or it's probably on the same taping they did this. And it's so he's going to come back an hour later and beat up on Drew Galloway?
Right, I feel you on that. I feel you. Maybe they should have had him come back
a week or two later.
In 2 weeks. Bound for Glory is a month away, so.
Yeah, I know they should build that up. I mean, it was just stupid.
Probably have him attack him in the parking lot or something like that. That would have been
different. Galloway beat the hell out of him last week, and then this week he comes back and he's fine.
Right. So, you said there was the world title match, right? Is there anything else before we touch on the main event that you want to touch on?
Let me double check real quick. Other than we know about heard about Dixie Carter leaning towards not even being involved anymore.
Yeah, there's rumors of Dixie Carter possibly not being involved in TNA anymore. So
Yes.
that's should be kind of good news for people who kind of blamed her for the fall of TNA.
Which it's true. No question.
Again,
Yeah. No
this is Get
question.
the Tables podcast. This is a special edition of Get the Tables podcast. Just doing a little TNA video tonight. I'm thinking we probably will do one next week as well, since it's going to be the final deletion.
Oh yeah. There was some.
Last,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
the first one was so interesting. I think the next one will be just as well. So I think we should come on here, especially these TNA reviews. They won't be very long. I think they'll be maybe 10 minutes, no longer than 15, the max. Just run through the card and then give us our thoughts and opinions. Mostly be me asking Dave the questions, but next week I will be watching, so we'll be both giving our thoughts on Impact. So, anyways, before we end the show, let's touch on the main event and anything else you would like to say. But what were you gonna say, Dave?
Throughout the night, we kept seeing like these little packages backstage with Matt Hardy talking to Reby and I can't think of his robot's name, but I'm talking to them setting up Final Deletion, how you kept having Rosemary and them were there at their house and all that. So throughout the night, you've seen these little vignettes backstage, and then towards the end, she said, "Senior Benjamin, prepare the battlefield." And so, yeah, we've seen a preview at the end of the night where it's going to be next week, Final Deletion 2, take 2, I guess. So it's going to be.
Surprised they didn't say that to Bound for Glory.
You know, or even after. But do they want to? They can't really do that on a live pay-per-view, can they?
I mean, probably not, but I wouldn't be mad if they showed a pre-recorded match like that on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean,
and I guess the only people that wouldn't like him is maybe the people in the crowd, but I wouldn't have minded. I thought they would. That would have. I would have maybe got them maybe a little bit more pay-per-view buys.
Yeah, but no one's buying their pay-per-view. I mean, I don't know why they're doing Bound for Glory on a pay-per-view, honestly. Personally, I think it should be like a freaking Impact episode because that would get you probably some good ratings. You made it an Impact episode because they're not gonna sell nothing. I mean, with the WWE Network out, it's only $10. No one's buying pay-per-views $40, $50 on a pay-per-view anymore.
Right, unless it's UFC. So.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm just going like strictly like pro wrestling. No one's buying a pro wrestling pay-per-view for like $40 or $50 anymore.
Right. So let's touch on the main event before we.
Yeah, the big key to this match was Moose was supposed to dictate who was going to leave the champion. I mean, we had about a 15-minute match. It was a good match. We had some good stuff happening. I mean, these guys had. I mean, really nothing else to say about it. Is they had a really good match. I mean,
it was Michael Bennett versus Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, yes, the world title. Sorry about that. Bennett versus Lashley. Bennett won a Battle Royal last week. Screwed over Moose, and so yeah, people weren't sure what was going on. So yeah, closing moments. I mean, Bennett asking for a lead pipe, and Moose said no, and then Lashley hits him with a spear to retain the title. I know, shocker. And then Bennett called for Moose to get back in the ring, and then he slaps Moose around, and then Moose snaps and went off on him. So
Moose turns face.
Basically, yes. And so now there's your Bound for Glory match, I assume. Moose versus Bennett, which would be this card shaping up to be pretty good, but I'm not paying no $40 or $50 for it.
So basically, the card it probably will have the Hardys on it. I'm going.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's supposed to be. I thought it was supposed to be the Hardys versus the K for the titles. I don't think this is for no title. This is just a battle.
Okay. All right. I feel you. All right.
Yeah. Still gonna get the tag title shot at Bound for Glory.
Okay. So.
Are they doing Final Deletion really too quick right now, though? You would think they would save it for even longer, because...
I think they're just going with what is hot, and, right now is the talk of TNA, and they're going to go with it, and the Final Deletion was the talk of the town. First time, so I'm sure, they're hoping that the second time around does just as well.
Yeah, this Matt Hardy gimmick is... People are everywhere loving it. A lot of people in wrestling, like, the other wrestlers are just loving this. I mean,
right.
He even said in his podcast with Matt Hardy that him and the guys, when they were overseas, they all got in the locker room and had viewing parties of this match. So I mean, everyone was watching it, from the writers and the big guys on the dirt sheets to WWE wrestlers were all watching this.
Right. So
I mean, yeah, part two, if they do what they did, maybe they'll get some good viewers next week. So hopefully Monday Night Football starts, or Thursday Night Football starts next week, so it's going to be tough. That's another reason probably why they're doing it then. Hopefully they can draw some viewers who will tune in for the first game of the season.
right. So yeah, that's gonna pretty much wrap up the show. We will be back next week with another. Well, I guess we can call it TNA report. We'll just touch on Impact and anything else TNA news related. Not sure if we're always going to be doing these all the time. Probably just kind of random here and there, just to let you guys know that they will happen, just not periodically. And if they do, Dave will be mostly to be the one doing them. He'll be the guy behind the scenes. So he's your guy. He's your TNA guy. So it just was a special occasion. We will be back next Thursday, talking Final Deletion number 2. Where it would be Hardy's versus the Decay in a battle of whatever. I don't know what it's going to be. And then I'm sure we'll see some other. I'm not sure. Did they announce any other matches for next week?
That's all I know for sure right now is that match next week.
Okay. So
I'm sure we'll find out coming few days.
Right. So like we said, tomorrow we'll be doing a giveaway between 1 and 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you are watching now or watching the replay, just hit those hearts, and then you will be into the giveaway. I'm also will be doing a reminder early on and during the day tomorrow, so you can also get into the giveaway again. And then I'll be doing the giveaway, like I said, between 1 and 3 p.m. Eastern. So it's going to be a DVD. I'm thinking it might be this ROH DVD that I just got in the package. I think that would be a nice. I'm sorry?
Can I check it out?
I might. But I know I just think it'd be a nice little thank you for everybody coming in here and giving us solid views every time we do our Get the Tables podcast episode. So, yes. So we will be back next Tuesday night. Huge night. We'll be covering Raw, SmackDown, and anything else WWE related. And then we'll be back on Thursday at about 9:15. I'm sorry, about 10:15 p.m. Eastern. Talking TNA, a little quick video just like tonight. So for my friend here, Dave, and me, we will catch you guys Tuesday night. We thank everybody for watching, and we appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.